Hey everybody, it's Coach Kirk. Early February, getting ready for a league match tonight. Excited to play. Almost 100% healed with the foot plantar fasciitis. About 90%, feeling a lot better. Man, I have a lot of friends, a lot of students that are handling some injuries. The sport of tennis is like baseball. The injuries are chronic from repetitive, kind of overuse of all the sockets and tendons and similar landings. So it's very important to get those feet moving like a dancer so you can distribute the forces, not overcommit. You don't want to land too hard. You don't want to slam on the brakes too hard. You want to be up on the balls of your feet so you can change direction better, so you're not dragging your feet. A good sign that you're doing it correctly is when you have relatively new shoes, they squeak. These are very comfortable slippers. I'm doing some light training today to get ready. They're not too squeaky. The tread's kind of gone on these, but that's another thing you got to watch out for. I think that's what brought on my plantar was I have mini tennis shoes. The uppers look beautiful, but the tread gets worn out. That's just from a lot of time on the court. And when that tread wears out, it's certainly a sign that the midsole is compressing. And as the midsole compresses and the insole just starts to lose its sponginess over time, you got to get some new boots on. You want that spongy, springy, helper that you get from a new shoe. For me, I found that a shoe that cups my heel, so my heel's not coming up and down so much in the shoe, is helpful as well. It's kind of a funny fit because I feel like you want it to be a very supported, you want it to cup that heel nicely, but you don't want it to be so hard that you got to use a shoehorn to get into your shoe. I do use a shoehorn to get into my shoe, but I don't struggle with it. If you have to struggle to get into your shoe, that's too tight. Some of the shoes with this booty and the tongue that's a booty, where it's hard to get into it, I understand what the benefit is supposed to be, but man, that's just a bit too much. It shouldn't be like putting on a ski boot, in my opinion, for me. I don't know how I went off on shoe talk, but that was, like I said, kind of I believe, along with not overplaying, just a lot of time on the court, being on my feet a lot. And then couple that with an accident that I had this last fall on the bridge. The body took a beating this last quarter of 22, and I'm starting to get my strength back. I am excited for that. Been having some success battling through some singles matches. I'm 3-0 to start the season in the 18 and over and 40 over age brackets for my level. Just so you know, I'm playing right now at a 4-0 level, but I'm about to swim out of that and get back to where I used to be. I took my rating and pulled it down. I appealed it because when I came back to tennis after about an 9-year layoff, I was just fat, out of shape, hadn't been hitting a tennis ball, and I wasn't ready to get back in and, battle lock horns with guys their game is sharp. But now, I've got a little hit list in my mind. I want to show some people that didn't realize the level that I am capable of playing at. I would say any decent teaching pro that is playing a good bit post-college, a lot of those guys played some 5-0 ball. 5'5", open tennis. That's what I used to do as well. And now, being a senior, tennis is such a funny thing with rankings and ratings. You know, people get so wrapped up in it. I believe you need to go into the level where you're compatible and swim out of it. A lot of the guys that are playing 4-5 tennis right now, I can't wait to play them. I'm going to shellac them. And those guys are going to dodge. That's what happens. People don't want to put it on the line. They don't want to play down in their mind because they feel they have everything to lose and nothing to gain. But that's actually a valuable experience. Nobody wants to play down. Everybody wants to play up. That allows you to hit the ball better. You get a cleaner strike. You look good, right? You can time the ball nicely when a ball's struck hard. When a ball comes over a little bit wonky, a little misguided, you've got to manufacture the pace, but most people don't know how to do that cleanly. They don't know how to move up on a ball, get set up, and make a clean swing because they can't move their freaking feet. A little rant, sorry. It's just funny competing now. All the little, people that like to hide behind their doubles ranking. Nothing against doubles. I love doubles. Get out and play some singles. Put it on the line. If you're a 4-5 doubles player, stop making the excuse that, oh, I only play doubles. I'm a doubles specialist. You're not no specialist. You just want to cover half the court. Move 8 steps to the ball and look good on your half. Go play some singles, guys. That'll make your doubles way better. The essence of what you must do is strike the ball. Run and strike the ball. Build up some cardio. You guys look fit. You're training hard for doubles. Get out there into the battlefield and play singles. Stop making excuses. You want to get better at doubles? Go play singles. Doubles will take care of itself if you know anything about positioning, and you know that makes a big difference. A lot of guys have no clue on positioning. That'll just take you up a whole level right there if you know positioning. Been playing a little recreational doubles, and I love it. I play tennis with anybody, but this year I'm going to really focus competition on improving my rating so I can swim out of the 4-0 and get back up to 4-5. That's what I want to do. Made that little public. My goal is to go undefeated. Put that out there too. Now guys are going to be chomping at the bit to have a piece of me. That's all good. Be willing to put it out there and face it. The last 3 matches I made comebacks. As a senior player, making a comeback against a young guy, not bragging, but it is very satisfying, very gratifying to figure out the problem and have the tools to be able to solve the problem. And here's what's beautiful. I still have a lot of improvement to do in my fitness. I mean, I'm very strong and fit right now because I've been training and rehabbing some injuries and I've been doing more stretching. A little bit of light weightlifting is a recipe for me. Not overtraining, balancing out the amount of time on court with matches, lessons, social hitting, giving my feet a rest, not being on the court 6-7 hours a day. Just can't do that. You get dead leg. But if I can be on the court 2 to 3 hours a day, I feel like I have enough spring in my legs to get after it in a match. So that works for me. But everybody's got a different recipe. It just depends on your genetics, your overall fitness, just a multitude of factors. The other thing that's helping is to drop some pounds. That's the hardest thing is for me, I think. As you get a little bit older and you've tasted a lot of cuisines of the world and you enjoy, a little glass of wine now and then, just getting all that stuff under deep moderation and willingness to set it aside. Not easy to do. It's a bad habit. Not a bad habit, just an enjoyment you've done for a long time in your life, you know? And now what's happening is, what's more important is, for me, seeing how far I can go with my game, you know? And so I'm willing to kind of set some things aside. I'm just doing a kind of a light warm-up here. Just got my racket restrung. Thank you, Holy City. Thank you, Daniel. I'm enjoying, I like that Technifiber biphase. I string my rackets at around 57 for this Donnay. My buddy Jim McCready does a really cool thing where he creates a pocket, takes the 2 middle main strings, strings them a pound lighter, and then 2 cross strings at central high, a little bit lighter, so it creates a little pocket. I'll be coming to you soon, Jim. I need another, I like to do that with nice strings. My other racket, I'll use a kind of a mid-grade string, because that's the one that I use to teach with, and I don't need to go through the additional expenditure of a high-end string. Plus, it's good to know different strings, different tensions. So I have three sticks, and I string them all slightly different. If I had 4 sticks, I would take my favorite and string it at the same tension. So I have a pair. But right now I've got 3 sticks, so I have them at 3 different tensions to handle the different temperatures. Some days on a cold day, everything's brittle, and a little softer string tension gives a little bit more of a cushion, a little more forgiveness, a little bit easy power. So you don't have to swing like a turbine. Speaking of that, my dear friend, whose name starts with a P. I love you, brother. I just love that you love tennis and you are so addicted to it. And I'm sorry that I coached the heck out of you when we played doubles, but I love you and I want you to get better. You've got to evolve your game, dude, from this one gear where you're just loading up to rip the cover off the ball on every ball that you hit. You're attempting to hit 14,000 revolutions per second on your topspin creation, and you're attempting to put your entire skeleton into the ball at maximum capacity. Dude, that's just one gear. You've got one gear. That's not good, man. You're gonna blow things out. I watched another friend of mine who had an extreme toss over his back, and I used to watch him, and he's a very skillful player. He's got great touch. He's a gentleman on the court. He's Mr. Happy, and I just would watch that serve. And he's a lefty. I don't want to mention names because I don't want people to, make a big deal out of it. It's just observations. As a coach that's had a lot of mechanical training, formal mechanical training, biomechanically sound, tempo-rich strokes. It's what you want, baby. That lets you dance for a lifetime. Make that swing clean. Back to my buddy with the extreme toss. The body cannot handle this, especially as a senior. And then you want to accelerate from here. You're going to blow your lower back out, needing back surgery. Now you're actually serving better, my friend, because you can't do this. So now, because you're not leaning back so much, you can control your toss better. Your toss is improved because you're not trying to do something extreme with your kinetics to look like an ATP 22-year-old pro. You're not 22, my friend. In your mind you are, I know that. But the body can't do that kind of torsion. So now your serve's getting a little better because your toss is easier to control. You're not leaning all the way back to the South Pole to initiate the swing. People misinterpret. They'll pick up some tips that they hear, watch a video, and it's all, to me, things have to be done in a foundational order. It just makes sense. The first order of business is get the ball over the net. The second order of business is be able to direct the ball. The third order of business is control the height of the ball over the net for proper depth. The fourth order of business is get some spin on the ball. And the fifth order of business is get some power. And if you do things in that order, it all comes out. It all shakes out and unfolds nicely with less effort. If I get my hip and shoulder wheeled around, aiming at my target, and I can step toward my target, and my swing can go toward my target, there's how I direct the ball. If I do that so well that I meet the ball at the proper strike zone, coming from below the ball, coming up on the ball with a slight incline and making contact even with the front foot, I can then start to get some lift on the ball. Now, if I strike the ball in the right position and I'm coming up on it and I'm getting some lift on the ball, then I can start to slowly brush up on the ball and apply some spin. There's the fourth piece. If I do that so well that I can step in, get below the ball, brush up on it, and hold my balance when I finish, then not only can I come out of the shot on balance ready for the next ball, but I was in pretty fine position to accelerate at the right time and get power. What happens with my friend that likes to hit 14,000 revolutions per second, he's good on a ball that's 3, 4, 5 steps away. But he doesn't have the mobility on a ball that's in front of him, too far to the side, because he wants on those balls that are 2 or 3 steps away to be able to get his platform and just uncoil. That's pretty hard to do unless you're a world-class athlete, to run up to balls that are 16 feet away, 8, 9, 10, 12, and measure all those and then be able to do this and unleash on every ball. And so his aim, his quest to want to do that on every ball is, I think, in error. Unless he starts to work on some salsa footwork so that he can cover great distances, multi-compassed, on balance, to be able to get to a ball. But my dear friend, you can't move like that. You're a tall dude. You're very strong. You're looking good. You got a thing of beauty. When you lace that forehand and you put that 14,000 revolutions on the ball, and your grunt is louder than Monica Seles back in the day, it's a thing of beauty. It's entertaining. But learn how to dish the ball off. Learn how to hit a soft ball more often under control so that you can drop the ball at somebody's feet instead of trying to hit the ball and make it dip to somebody's feet with all that spin. That's a pretty tall order. I would also suggest to be able to build this shot into your curriculum. Instead of here, how about this, where I can keep my eyes on the ball and I can carefully place the ball where I want to, letting the ball descend with no pace at my opponent's knees as they're running up on it. They're also used to timing a hard struck ball. Everybody wants to have, can I just unleash all fury on the ball? To me, that is very delightful to dismantle. So my other buddy just loves to, he has actually a very beautiful forehand. His name starts with an R. And he wants to beat me so badly. It's very fun to play against him. It can be a little bit of a funny little aggravation between us because he's trying to hit the ball through me. And he's tagged me a couple times because he's just, on every ball, he wants to also rip the cover off the ball and drive it at me. But Coach Kirk can handle a speedy ball with a volley. So your speed comes in and my ball comes back to you sooner because I've used your energy to hopefully place the volley and handcuff you so that the next ball you can't get in position quick enough to unleash fury on it. And then that's where it breaks down and it looks like a 2.5 level shot. Yeah, those are fun ones to mess with. Guys, you got to evolve your game. You can't just play the same way for 25 years. You can get very good at playing that way and compete well with 80% of the people in your group, but you're not going to go to the next level. You don't have, your other tools are just not developed. You use the same tools all the time, the same shots all the time, and you've perfected those relative to the level that you're playing. You're playing chess with only 8 pieces on the chessboard. Yeah, it's funny. It's a great game. It's an endless well of things to learn, to work on. Here's something that requires, here's where the other gears of speed come into play. Tennis is a lot of feel. Tennis is a lot of feel. I need to be able to feel, caress, pocket, cup. There's a lot of different adjectives for what involves feel for the ball strike. And I've learned recently from friends in other industries, surgeons, violinists, drummers, understand this position right here with the hands. This position. The thumb is ready to clasp onto the third finger. The index finger is separated from the third finger with a little bit of space. This is the precision finger that we used to dial the old push-button telephones with. This is the one that allows you to point. These are your power fingers, right? So you want to hold the grip the way these other disciplines hold the grip for their respective industry. It's a common mechanical position. This position allows me to take the feedback from the frame, from the hit, from the mishit that travels down the frame and tells this index finger what's going on. It tells the other fingers as well, but this one mostly so. A little bit in the third finger, even in the thumb. But this position allows me to clasp the racket, not so tightly that I can't take the racket out of my hand. I don't want to be able to take the racket out of my hand, but I don't want to have a death squeeze on it. Right? So if I want to develop some touch, and if I'm always operating at gear 5 where I'm trying to get lined up and I'm gripping this thing, I want to grip it and rip it, these muscles tighten up. The arm tightens up. There is no room in that setup for you to feel much other than just unleashing fury on the ball. There's no, your feel is limited. If you don't hit the sweet spot with that shot, you have no forgiveness to be able to get the ball back in the court. If I can learn how to hit at gear 2 and 3 really well, I have options because I can swing through and generate pace, but I can also swing through and control it. See, same looking swing, pace, control. Can you do that? That would be very helpful. Something you can train with on the wall is work on hit on balance with pace, and then take it easy and control it. Okay? Do you not think that would be useful to add that to your game? Great disguise on that too, right? You don't know if I'm going to unleash fury or am I hitting a delicate shot that falls over the net at my opponent's shoelace. Okay? So back to this load. There's a lot of coaches that are teaching load up. Get on that semi-western grip, load here, open stance, and then step in and unleash. That's an incredibly valuable, important stroke to have. It's in the modern game, but it's not the only thing in the modern game. And so here's an example of a recreational player seeing that, hearing it, watching it be coached, seeing it on videos, and saying, I need to master that to get better. I need to be more like an ATP level, WTA level, do the same thing they do all the time on that one stroke. What if you were here and instead of unleashing fury, you could just caress it off? Look, I'm here, disguise. I'm fully able to see what's happening. I watched what the opponent's doing and I level it off and do something different. I'm here, I'm ready to wail on the ball. Now I'm here and I can lob the ball. I can create disguise. See, if you have the presence of mind to just give up your ego, to not just unleash all fury on the ball every time, you have more chess pieces just in that presence of mind right there. You have more chess pieces on the chessboard. The other thing is, if you only hit with pace, you're only concerned with hitting as hard as you can, you need to understand the geometry of the court. Physics are against you. Geometry is against you. A lot of the sciences are against you because the court's 78 feet long. Cross court is 82.5 feet long, and I'm talking about the singles court for now. And that's another thing where singles will help your doubles. If you aim in the singles lines, when you play doubles, you've just created a beautiful margin of error by not trying to paint the outside line. Man, I'm giving away too many good tips to my opponents. That's all right. It takes a while to actually re-envision the dimensions of the court in your mind so that you give yourself more margin. That takes a lot of practice, but it's a brilliant thing because you start managing errors. But getting back to the physics and the geometry. So here I am loaded up and I want to unleash fury on a cross-court ball. Well, if I unleash fury on the cross-court ball and I'm trying to hit into the front quadrant, the service box to the left, the deuce court in this situation, and I'm trying to hit a lot of revolutions of spin, which requires tremendous swing speed, and I've got my grunt and my abdomen's torqued and ready to step in and try to focus on swing speed to get a lot of revolutions. And I also want to put on a show and hit it hard. You're sending a ball to a very short distance with a problem of having to clear the high side of the net, and you're trying to hit that shot to angle the guy off the court and not let him have a chance to even touch it. Your priorities are out of whack on that. If you'll just take some pace off that ball, it will clear the net and not go out. And it will do enough damage to make the guy have to run now 12, 16 steps because you can hit a sharper angle without having to do so much calculation with your spin. That you'll have time to come out of that completely on balance and you can glide over and get ready for their potential assault because they're going to be running at it like a caboose at full steam, colliding with the ball, and all you got to do is position yourself and get ready to bump a volley right behind them. That's the thing of beauty. When you take the ninja swordsman that's coming at you, that's trying to chop your head off with his machete, and you just don't flinch and you move up and you stare down the speed and just bump it behind them, that makes them mad. It makes them talk to themselves. I should have hit that harder. I should have, they start making nonsensical excuses or corrections of what they did wrong. What you did wrong was your shot selection. Your shot selection was so out of order for that. You may hit 2 out of 10 that are amazing, but 8 of them are going to be erred, or I'm going to make you look like a fool. So I'm saying these things as I'm trying to help my buddies that sometimes I practice with some of my buddies and I don't like to, it doesn't help my game because it's so dumb the way we're playing that it makes me have to lunge for balls to cover your out of positionness, and I don't want to put my body through that. I don't need to.